welcome to the first episode of My African Dream. My African Dream is a show that allows youth to express themselves in various interesting areas focusing mostly on education and societal vices. Today being the first episode, we'll be discussing a very interesting topic, which is the future of Gambian students with zero reading habit. And with me today I have six students from 5 different schools, mainly West, Deeper Life, Greater Banjul, SOS, and Star Preparatory Senior Secondary School. You are welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank you.
Later in this show, I'll be engaging Mr. Mike Williams. Mike Williams is a teacher, a writer, a poet, a director, just to mention a few things that he does. He'll be discussing with us about the recent book that he published, Once Upon a Time Here in the Gambia. You are reminded that you are watching Jamano Media and Products online TV. You can follow us on Facebook Live and YouTube. Do not forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. So guys, let me start with you. Kindly introduce yourself, Joyce.
My name is Joyce Aisha. I am a Star Preparatory student. I am from grade 7.
Aisha too? Yeah.
My name is Aisha. I'm from SOS Basic School. I'm 14 years old.
I am Maman Sanyate, student of Greater Banjul Senior Secondary School. I am 19 years old.
And I am Mariam C. Jallo, a student of Greater Banjul Senior Secondary School.
Okay. Welcome once again.
Thank you.
Okay. My first question will be, how will you explain the issue of zero reading habit here in our country, in the Gambia?
Well, what I understand from this topic is that Gambian students with zero reading habits, if students don't read, what would be their academic performance and their future educationally? They will perform woefully, and that will make them to lose interest in education. As we all know, knowledge is the power, education is the best legacy, and illiteracy is a disease. So to gain knowledge, you have to be educated. Thank you.
Okay. Can anyone add on to that?
Yes. Gambian students, we all agree in this room that we don't read. If you have to go to the street now and start asking them if you read, the answer will be no. And I would say the causes of the zero reading habits is students ourselves. We don't read, and yes, we don't read. If we start going to schools now and ask them how many books they have read, they will say 3 or 2, right? Maybe. Yes, and we really have to, look up to ourselves and be like, yes, we're going to be someone tomorrow, and we really have to start reading books and know that we're going to be parents, we're going to be ministers, officers, yes, and we really have to start reading.
Yeah, I always love this saying that goes that if you want to hide something from an African man, you put it in a book, and which is quite very interesting. Yes. You realize that most of the Gambian students, especially African, in African society, we don't like reading books, which is very bad. So it is important that we are trying to amend this problem now that I'm seeing this future generation coming out. So I'm really happy that in the future, things will be changed and we will change the narrative. So, what do you think are the causes of poor reading habit?
Well, one of the causes of poor reading habits can be parents. Parents can be one of the causes, because you can see in the sense that some of the parents are there. Like me, I can say the example. I take a book, or I'm having a book, or I bought a book from the bookshops. Then I'm trying to read it, or I wanted to read it at home. I would say, okay, wait, if I reach home, I will try and read. But I would say like, if I'm trying to read the book, then my mom just said, hey, Mama, please, you stop this. Go and do your house chores. It's better than this. So don't waste time. This is a waste of time. For that you are not encouraging. It is a cost. It is a cost on your child. You will disturb it. You disturb your daughter, or he or she. The person will be disturbed, and which is not correct. Parents can be one of the causes of the poor reading habits.
Okay. Do you want to add something to that?
Alright. Society also. In other case, in the society, you can see a student, if the person come from school, if the student come from school, instead of him or her reading, he will be like roaming at the how to call it that society, doing things that are not necessary, and that is not good for us as students. We're supposed to encourage ourselves rather in having reading habit.
And some of them, what they add up is that like you will still see follow the members of the society, like you pick a paper, they will see you having a book, they will just this one is he's thinking that he's on who have all the knowledge in her head. Why that is not correct? It's inappropriate, it's not correct. Like instead of for you encouraging the person, yeah, the work you are doing is good, continue reading, you're telling the person you stop it, this is not correct, look at it, this one is showing up herself or himself. This way you discouraging the person, you are discouraging the person instead of it's not encouraging at all. That's all I can say.
Others will even say that Kijan is
exactly, it's like
that.
That's
not right. We have to encourage ourselves.
Encouraging yourself. I will also encourage you, if you have money, you can also go to the bookshop and buy some book so that you can be reading at home. It is very good to be buying some books and be reading by yourself, because I realize that most students usually have money, but to use that money to buy book and read it is always a problem. You rather buy it and clothes. It's better you sacrifice now and enjoy tomorrow.
Yes.
So that's it. Okay.
And when this book was launched, I told one of my friends in the neighborhood that my teacher is an author and he wrote a book, and they were just like, yes, it's my birthday. My birthday is coming and I have to, prepare for it. She spent like 4,000 for the party. That 4,000, she can take like 300 out of it and buy the book to read, but she didn't. That's why I said Gambian students, we ourselves, we don't read. Yes.
Gambian students, please read. Okay, so I would also like to know the great readers in our African society, especially in the Gambia here, the ones that you read. You can mention them.
Well, I can mention two, and then which are those are. Let me say, Mr. Janho, like the CEO of Jamano Media, and Dr. Chernobari, the Vice Chairman of IOU, International Open University.
And Mrs. Amanda of FIOH means future in our hands, and Musha Shiri, the CEO of
Joyce.
Yeah, and Gambian. Yeah.
Secretary of Tango, the executive director of
Tango, yeah.
Joyce is the youngest here.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of her. You're really trying.
Okay. I can name one. Like Sadola Jola. Sadola Keraba Jola was a great leader.
Okay.
Yes, and Halifa Salah too.
Okay. As I mentioned earlier, 6 students from 5 different schools. Now, Ami and Moyo are here to join us. So I'll ask them the question that I asked them earlier. What are the causes of poor reading habit here in the African society, especially in the Gambia?
Well, I would say so only few students visit the library, and library is very important. Reading is very important. It helps us improve our English language and our speaking skills. If we don't read, it might be hard for us to read newspapers, especially when important documents are brought up, like you have to read them. If not, you might not know. The world might be in a serious danger. You are at home, you don't on TV, you don't listen to radio. You're always in your phone, but you do something else. You're not focusing much on what's happening on the country. Instead, you are going to play games, watching movies. You don't focus much on the media, like what's going on in your country. You might not know. The Gambia, the country might have a really big problem, a really big catastrophe, and you're supposed to know it, but you don't know. So you focus much on the other things that you're doing. So for that, reading is very important. And the causes, I might say, like how I said, for few students visit the library, and some don't go there to read. They go there to sleep, use their phones. For example, schools that have library, you have a library, but you don't have any library topic like in the timetable. You only have all those other topics. If you only go to the library, it means you are sent out of the class. So you don't have nowhere to go, because if they saw you down, they must expel you or like punish you. So you want to run away from that, you go to the library. Instead of you to pick a book and read, or like you can do your homework, the reason why they send you out, you'll be there using your phone, chatting with your friends, talking about all those stuffs, like boyfriends, like all other things that are not necessary in school. You are supposed to be talking about your education, like what's important. Like even if they send you in outside class, you're supposed to be like afraid. Like, I'm not inside the class, my friends are there, they are learning, and I don't know what they are learning. The teacher is the only one that can explain exactly and make you understand. Your friends, you see, he or she might be inside the class, but he's not paying attention. You might come out of the library and then go inside the class, and you're like, please explain for me what the teacher has said. And he will like, I don't know. And you'll be like, why? Because you are inside the class. He will like, why? I was inside the class, but I was not like paying attention to the teacher. And you're supposed to pay attention to the teacher, because if exam come, you will not know what to write there. Sometimes if they give you exam, they expect you to answer it in the way that you understand.
Yeah.
They don't expect you to bring everything inside the book, because you cannot capture everything inside the book. So they expect you to like say what you understand. For example, when they ask like what is agriculture, you can just say, you can define it in any way you can define it. Don't just like say what is inside the book. Sometimes you cannot capture everything. So yes, that's all I have to say. And I have to encourage Gambian students that we have to read. We might not know where we're gonna be tomorrow. This life is too short.
Okay, Moyo. So we should also develop educational programs like Project Snap Gambia. Like many students don't want to participate in shows like this because they say I cannot do it or I don't have time. We should develop the habit of participating, not drawing back and saying that, oh, I don't want to read any book, I don't want to do anything. We should participate. And also the school should not reject life-changing books, or they should not limit to the books they have in their library. They should add more books so that students can gain more knowledge, not limited to the only education they have in the library at that time.
Okay.
Okay.
One of my former schools, they had a library. That was my lower basic school. They have the books, but they say that the students don't read the books properly. Like they just tear the pages out or misuse the books. And then when they bring them back, the books are like
ragged and tired.
They're just ragged like that. So that's why they don't give us the books. But sometimes the people who don't do that, that affects us.
Yeah.
So sometimes you will want to read and go to the library. The teacher will just send you out. And then what is the library? What is the use of the library if you don't get to read the books?
Yeah.
Yes, and I also want to add to that. There was this one time that I wanted to go to, like I went to a library called this library at Caraba Avenue.
Yeah.
American Corner.
American Corner.
Yeah, I went there with my friend to show them this book, Once Upon a Time in Gambia. I think it's because the cover of the book was rough. That's why the woman was just like, no, we don't want to buy it. It's because, Gambian students, we don't read. Yes. And yeah, and they also say that you can't judge a book by its cover. So I'm encouraging everybody, students, everybody, youths, to come and buy this book. It's a very interesting book. The book is about gender-based violence. It's like for girls. Everybody can read it. Yes.
Okay, so can you help me mention some of the great readers that you emulate?
Well, Mr. Hassan Cisse, Doctor General of NCAC, International Council of Art and Culture, and Mr. Jaha, CEO of Jamano Media. I know they might already mention it, but it's all part of it, yeah.
No problem.
And Dr. Mick Toll, American International University, the VC, and Madam Aminata FIOH, even though they have mentioned it.
Okay, well, viewers, be reminded that you are watching Jamano and Products Online TV. You can follow us on YouTube and Facebook Live. Do not forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. Now we will go into the second part of this show, whereby I'll be welcoming Mr. Mike Williams, who is the author of Once Upon a Time here in the Gambia. Okay, welcome back. And this is Mike Williams. Mike Williams, you are welcome.
Thank you.
Now, kindly tell us who is Mr. Mike Williams.
I've been having this kind of question every now and then, everywhere I go to. You want to actually know who Mike Williams is. Well, Mike Williams is an author, a poet, a screenplay, a playwright, and I guess Mike Williams is the author of Once Upon a Time in the Gambia. So that's just me.
Okay. We were talking about poor reading habit in a Gambian society.
Okay.
So, what will you contribute in that topic that we were just discussing with the students here?
Well, that topic is a very interesting one, extremely interesting, which is the future of Gambian students with zero reading habits. Okay, right?
Yeah.
Good. I don't think there could be any nation without readers. You see, if you look at the foreign world, like America, UK and everything, these guys are good readers. Okay? I remember one time I actually went to Standard newspaper to collect one of my articles. So I guess I made a mistake. It was a mistake I made because when I was in the car coming, I took a bus. So I flipped open the newspaper. I was reading. Like seriously, the car nearly collided with another car. Simply because the driver was looking at me from the front mirror. So everybody was like, who is this? I was not really comfortable. Is it a new thing to read newspaper in the car? It looks so funny. You know what I'm saying? So they are not really used to yes, the reading aspect of it. They're not really used to. But I believe things can change. And things will definitely change. But if you want it to change, it has to start from the basis.
Young people.
Sure, it has to start from the basis, and I believe that is the reason this program comes up, to encourage the young ones to catch them young and let them read. So yeah.
Okay, can you give us a hint about the book Once Upon a Time? Because I also want to ask the students about the book, because I've learned that they have read the book, some of the question there. So just give us a hint about the book.
Once Upon a Time in the Gambia is a very interesting piece. It's a contribution to the betterment of the society. I brought it out from the in-depth love I have for the country, for the people, for the culture, and for change. I believe that anywhere I get to, or anywhere anybody should get to, you should be able to implement positive. We have negative changes really. We should be able to implement the positive changes. Okay, so that is what actually brought about Once Upon a Time in the Gambia.
Yeah. You must have great inspiration to write this book. You could have write about any other country, but you chose the Gambia. What was the reason?
Because I am in the Gambia.
Why in the Gambia? Okay. Okay then. So students, I would like to ask you some questions from the book. You can tell me your favorite character in the book. Anyone can tell me.
So my favorite character is Amina.
Oh.
She's a very brilliant girl and she's admired among their peers because her light shines to everyone. Even the principal knows that she has a bright future ahead. And even though when problem arises, she fights through the problem and she overcomes it at the end.
And Ami?
Well, my favorite character is honestly the gate man.
Wow.
Like how they say, like, how he wear his t-shirt and the trousers, like an old soldier. Yeah, that's kind of funny. But I really like him. Yeah.
Okay.
You must like my gate man when I was in the basic teacher. I was having his dress, okay?
Okay, Joyce.
My favorite character is Mr. Jata.
Mr.
Amina's
Jata.
teacher.
Okay.
He's so funny and he uses these Jajambas words.
Wow. Okay. Can you describe Mr. Jata, Grandma, Aisha, Mohammed, and Aminata in the book?
Amita is a plump girl. She's brown skinned and she has a tiny waist and her and her bulbous nose and all. And yeah, that's it.
Okay. Do you want to add something, Joyce?
Amina is an intelligent girl.
Okay.
She loves to read.
Wow. Okay.
How about
So-
the other ones?
Mohammed,
Like the-
yeah, Mohammed, like he's a grade 12 student in Latitunda of a basic school. But he's not like that, all focused in the school like he goes around playing with kids, smoking marijuana and all those things, which is actually bad influence. Yeah. So.
And what about grandma? No one like grandma there.
Oh, obviously.
character.
Yes.
She can be funny at times, and she can be very, very overdramatic.
Okay.
Yes, and she's a storyteller, locally known as Lemon. Yeah.
You know, storytelling is also very important. You know, in African society, that's what we know. It's like the way the Europeans do with their children, they read books for them. So it would have been very interesting when it is being written in a book form, or they were able to read and write like the Europeans do with their children. It could have been very good for African society. But the Lemon Lupin are also very interesting stories that our grandparents used to tell us. It teaches us a lot.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think the future of the book will go? Will it go a long way? How will you describe the future of the book in the near future?
I can say the book is very interesting. If we have a lot of readers who are going to interest in reading these books, especially great readers who encourage buy the books for others who cannot buy it, the book can go a long way. It can go overboard, like it can come out of here to Europe. Who knows? And those people, if they read it, they might really interest in this country, like tourists who used to come here. So I believe the book can go far.
Okay. And Joyce?
And also, the movie will come out soon.
Wow. You know, I wanted to mention that this book would have been very interesting if we add it as a movie. You know, most of these European movies that we watch, they were written from books. They were inspired by books. So it would have been very interesting.
And also,
so I hope I will be one of the actors there. I would love to join them. Okay, yes, welcome back. You know, I was asking your fellows about some of the interesting characters in the book. So I want you to mention any interesting character in the book.
Thank you so much. Well, once upon a time in the Gambia, my favorite character is the gate man. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, so the gate man. Because he's so funny, and then lots about him. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Sure.
And Aisha?
Yeah, my favorite character is Amina, because when the book launched, when we were launching the book, I was the main character of the play. And
So you were Amina?
yes, I was Amina, so she's my favorite character, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And me, it's Mr. Jata. Yeah, Amina's teacher. The way he teach rather is very interesting, and he is very funny. So at times, the words he use, the word he use.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Well, I can say grandma too. Where I enjoy him, Grandma Aisha, where I enjoy her, or like the time she entered in the van going to Costa Road. You understand? So that's what she was yielding on the driver. I know the whole of she even speak like that. My mom watch something like that. Understand? So
Why? So you want to go? Where did you go?
Yeah,
It's part of it.
so I was laughing. I said, "Oh, grandma is back." So
No, you will tell me where you landed, all of us.
Sure.
Okay, can you describe Grandma Amina, Mohammed, and Mr. Jata?
well, as my colleague mentioned earlier on, Mohammed, he's a grade 12 student, but he like roaming everywhere. But I will not blame Mohammed. I blame his parents. So, and for Amina, he was the victim.
Okay. The future of the book, where do you think it can go? It will go a long way. How will you think the future of the book will come later in the future?
Well, when we have more readers, the book will go beyond imagination. What we imagine, to go beyond the Gambia. Yes, it will go beyond the Gambia, and that will be very great.
Yeah, like what my colleague said, Mama said. Yeah, the book will. I don't want the book to stop at here. I want the book to go outside so people, because I want to make William to be popular. Not for this book only.
But I know he will write more books. More books ahead are coming.
Talking about more books.
Yeah,
Talking
more
about
books,
more books, I would love you to mention some of the books.
Oh yes,
that the author have
I can
written.
remember. I remember like let me say, okay, dreamers become winners, and the other one the Swagger King, and we have the Little Mermaid,
Wow.
and we have the sun. The son of the moon.
Wow. Have you gotten to
Many
read those
things.
books?
Yes, I was so I was so impressed the time I came such such.
University women of I don't know one time.
Yeah, one time. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
The title is very interesting.
Interesting. Okay then. Okay. I will ask you. I will allow you to ask some questions to the author. Ask him about the book. You can ask any question that you want to ask the author.
Oh, you know, like
Anyway,
before posting my question, I would like to say something about the book.
Okay.
Particularly this book, the novel is naturally gifted. It's gifted, and it gives hope to the hopeless. Yes, it gives no matter what happens in life, just be patient. Never give up. One day the world come looking for you. Sure.
Okay. Do you want to add it?
Yes. Yes, I've been asking him this question since, and he said
You
that-
have been meaning to ask him.
Yes.
You have asked him.
Yes, I've asked him, and he said I don't know what. So I want to ask, what inspired you to write this?
Yeah. Very
Okay.
interesting one.
Okay. Yes, it's a very good question though, but I think I answered it just a few minutes ago. My in-depth love for this country, which is the Gambia, my in-depth love for the culture I see here, my in-depth love for the people, and my love for changes. See, when I came into the Gambia, I discovered a lot of things, and I wanted to speak about it. So the best way I could do it was just for me to make it a book. And if you read the book, you discover that 60% of the book is a true life story. Only 40 is a kind of fabricated out of it. That means I did my homework. Not just the students alone, but I did my homework. I did a great research, okay? And I compiled the whole thing. So my inspiration comes from God, and my inspiration comes from the fact that I want to change lives. Yes, I want to change lives. So I guess I have answered your question?
Yes.
Hey, another question.
Oh, she has another question.
Yes. Are you willing to write more books about the Gambia?
Oh, I actually said you should let the student ask me questions I can answer. She's asking if I'm willing to write more about the Gambia. Yes, I am willing to write more about the Gambia. I am willing to, and this is not the last one. Something else is going to come up, something more interesting than this is going to come up. It's a promise of that.
Okay.
Well, my question is, how challenging do you feel, or what challenges do you face writing this book?
Okay, I guess every author has a challenge of finance. Or how will I put it? Everybody has a challenge of that. If you want to actually bring out something big, the first challenge was finance, because this book you're looking at was written in 2019, and then it was published 2020. Then we printed 2021. It was published in Nigeria. So it wasn't a little money I used to do to import it over to this place, things like that. And that's the first challenge. And then the second challenge was accepting it. This is not countries like Nigeria that accept books, reading and all the stuff. This country you need to penetrate. To be able to penetrate, you need to be systematic about it. And that was why I had to go through the NGOs, introduce it to the NGOs, those who are into what I wrote, and then most of them accepted it, most of them rejected it, So those are the challenges I actually face in publishing the stuff.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Mr. Mike William.
It's like she still want to ask me a question again.
Yes, he wants to.
Okay, please let her ask so that she won't forget. Then we just take it step by step. Then the second question.
Okay,
Just
don't
finish
worry.
it.
Let me give her a chance to
Okay.
answer. It's okay.
Okay. What inspired you to use some local language in this book?
First and foremost, you should know that my Koreans don't speak one language. I speak Ibibio, Efik, Yoruba, Igbo, English, and I am learning Wolof. The reason I'm loving Wolof, I would not really say it on live TV. Let's use it that way. The reason I'm loving Wolof, I wouldn't say it on live TV. But you know, writing a book for the Gambians, okay, you need to use the local language. I have only been to different countries in Africa. I know what it is with students. I've worked with students for close to 10 years. So if you want to write a book like this and you come up with big grammars every now and then, you will start, what is all this? What is it? So you need to really feel like, you know what I'm saying? A lot of people even ask me, are you a Gambian? I said, no. They won't even know I came into the Gambia some years ago. They feel like I've been into the Gambia for like 20 or something like that. And I'm so happy this come up and you people love it. And that's the most important part.
What the Wolofs you were speaking in this book?
It's very crude.
Does it seem like you were trying? It seems like
I wonder. That's why I wonder.
Okay, I made my research, and I think you guys are going to give me an award for that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, students, I would like you to tell us what you have learned from the book, because you have read the book.
Sure. As I mentioned earlier on, the book is gifted naturally because it gives hope to the hopeless. And if you give a girl child the opportunity, she can compete with male child. She can compete with male child. And then this book also speaks against female genital mutilation. Let me give chance to the other, let them come in. But I learned a lot from this book.
okay.
So
Okay.
a lot, I mean.
Like what I learned from the book is just that never give up anything. Like anything you do in life, never give up. Always keep trying. One day you will make it. Yeah, that's all.
Yes, and I also learned that, you know, Amina in this story, she followed bad friends. That's why she, you know, got into those bad stuffs. And I also learned that bad friends, you really need to stay away from them because they can really influence you. Yes, they can influence. And also, this book also is about parents. You know, when they separate, how their kids become. Yes, I really learned something about it.
What question would you like to ask the author of Once Upon a Time? What would you like to ask him?
So I would like to ask you that when reading this book, what should the viewers or the readers expect when reading this book? This book, what should they expect
from it?
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful question. Like asking me what is the moral of the book. First and foremost, the book speaks a lot against sexual and gender-based violence, which has to do with rape, FGM, early marriage, and other societal vices like single parenting, illegal migration, and drug abuse. Usually, I want to tell you something about that early marriage. I actually experienced it myself. I went for a checkup, and when I was there, I was speaking with a nurse. So we were just talking, and then there's this little girl that came in. She was a very little, like a young girl. So when she came in, I did not really study her. I was just busy with the nurse. And there was this huge guy, like very huge, behind her. So I was like, the nurse was like, okay, what happened, young girl? And the girl was like, she's pregnant. When I heard I'm pregnant, that was when I turned and looked at the girl. She was having a big stomach. So the nurse was like, look at you, where is your husband? Behind. So me, I was like, oh, what is happening? Your husband is a tall man, like this is a small child. So the nurse was like, this is what I'm saying. Gambia, say no to early marriage. Say no to early days. And I was like, I felt bad for the child. And I felt to myself, I wish I could just give this man a slap. But my brain was like, Mike, calm down. If you look at this guy, the muscle is there. If he handles you. So I called it up. You see it in the book. But I'm saying now, you're going to see it in the book to tell you it is true life or stuff. So when you're reading the book, you expect to be able to know more about SGBV, which is sexual and gender-based violence. You expect to be able to avoid it as a victim. And even if you're a victim, you know how to speak about it. Some people go through it, they don't even know where to go to. But if you read the book, you'll be able to like, know where to run to, like FIOH, they are there to welcome you. Gamkutrab, they are there to welcome you. We have a lot of them in the book, even a Fatimata Barbaro Foundation. It's a very good foundation also. They fight against all the stuffs like that. And also, when you're reading this book, you expect to like appreciate the jurists. See, these people are kind of outdated in the society, which is very bad. I grew up, I'm not from this generation, pardon me for that. Okay, my own generation was the kind of generation that we sneak out in the night to listen to tales under the moonlight. Okay, so we used to have a juror that would sit down and we would all like sit around her and she would tell us stories. And those stories made us who we are today. But in the society today, we don't believe in them. They're out there, they're like, who is this and everything. And they should be appreciated. Yeah, everybody's going on the internet to listen to fake stories. You know what I'm saying? So again, when you read this book, you will be able to like develop kind of reading habit. Because the way I wrote it, I make it so easy, so attractive. When you pick it up, you won't drop it till you finish it. One of my students talked to me, she was like on WhatsApp, Mr. Michael, please give me big words. I said, what is that? Am I a dictionary or what? So she was like in her class, her literature teacher was like, send me big words and I'm going to answer it. I will tell you what it is. So the man was like very proud about it. So she said the students were saying big words and the man was, I know it. She said when she brought out one from Once Upon a Time in the Gambia, the man was like, where did you see this one? It was a big word for her, she was very proud and things like that. It make her very close to dictionary. So a lot of things you're going to learn from reading the book, of which you have read it, right? So a lot of them.
Okay, Aisha, do you want to ask?
No, I have no question.
Okay, Joyce?
Who is your favorite character?
Joyce, you're asking a very, very deep question. Who should I pick as my favorite character? To be sincere with you, I would not be able to pick one person because they are all beautiful characters. Okay? We talk about Grandma Aisha. She's a loquacious woman. In fact, when I read about the gegele or what is it called? Gele stuff, and then when they gave her a big slap and she stood up and everything, it's very interesting, isn't it? Yeah. And you talk about Mohammed too is a very inspiring character, though I really feel for him even as an author, because you would blame him, you wouldn't blame him, You have to blame the parents because they are the ones that were not really coordinating this child. You know what I'm saying? And anything that happens to a child when he or she grows up, sometimes you look at the parents. The parents were like, the father is an herbalist, and then the mother is a kind of, I don't care attitude of the thing. So, and that led him to where he ended. That is Muhammad. And then you talk about Mr. Jatta. Mr. Jatta is a very, very, don't forget he had a degree in vocabulary model from Oxford University, isn't it? So he's a very interesting character that dishes out hard words. Most of those hard words are real. People do ask me. Most of them you find them in the dictionary. Yeah, you find it. But the way he actually combines it is not the right way. You understand? It's not the right way. And don't forget that his class was actually voted as the best class in SIC. That is Mr. Jatta. And who else is there? Amina. Amina is number one. Yeah, she's number one because she's strong enough. She's strong enough. She passed through a lot. Her friends actually put her through a lot, and she came up strong. She came up strong. So I have all of them as my favorite characters.
Okay. So can you ask them? Can you mention the books that the author have written? Any book that you have known that the author have written?
Well, like they already mentioned all of them.
Okay.
So we just have to add a little bit.
Okay.
Like Ariel, the Little Mermaid. I would really love to see how you wrote that book. I don't know if it's exactly like the movie or like you wrote it in a different way. So I would really love to read that book. Like maybe you have used your words, Nigerian words, to combine it there. Like how you use all of what to combine this book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And what have you learned from this book?
Well, this book encourages many people.
Okay.
Like females. It encourages us that never to give up. This life, we can make it. It's not only men that are strong. If they say a man can do this, a woman can do much more better. Because women men, we are their motivation. We keep them strong. Yes. Without us men, I don't know what would they be. I'm not trying to like no, I mean
Men in the house.
I'm not
Men in the
I'm not
house.
trying like to say something bad. I'm just giving my own thing. Yes. And but here in the Gambia, like boys still really like insulting women. When they sit down, like say, not good. Your mom gave birth to you. It was so painful for her. Do you know what she has to go through to give birth to you? And you're like, say Chapande, what is that? You don't have to insult. You don't have to like say Nakata Sunday. That is not nice to say. Seriously, it's really not nice. We have to be very like respect our parents. They went too hard to give us what we have. You don't know what they went through. Maybe some of them, their parents die at a young age. They have to survive on their own to grow up and give back to you, and at the end you respect them. When they talk to you, you talk back at them.
Some even died during
Yes.
that.
So this book is like encouraging all those people who are doing all those things to stop. Like just respect your parents is very good. And also divorce. It's a very bad thing. Divorce does not like encourage the kids to do much better. Like yes, like when you divorce, you have to tell your child to choose in case you have one child. That child have to choose between the mother and the father. And what if the child doesn't want to choose? You're giving her a hard time in school. So you'll not be able to focus. So you'll be like crying to her friends, my parents are getting a divorce, I don't want it. It's very bad. I don't want to go through it, but I also pity for those who go through it. I'm single parent. Father leaving their wives behind and going, who knows where they were? They just go. Nobody knows where they went. They just went like for years and you never see them. One day the child grow up and you come back like saying, it's my daughter, it's my daughter. Yes, it's your daughter, but you never suffered for her. You never suffered for him. So you don't know what she or he went through to become what he is today. Yes. So this book encourages all kids, adults, like grown-ups. Yes, it really encourages all of us. I learned a lot from it.
Okay. Do you want to
Okay.
add something?
To be honest, I learned a lot of things from this book especially. It's creating awareness of all the things going on, not only in the Gambia, around the world, among females. Some girls, when they are molested or anything like that, they don't have the courage to tell their parents because their parents may say that you are lying, this is not true, and they will be very discouraged and be like, they'll cry or commit suicide or even any other things, and it's really not good. So this book is telling us that we should be brave and tell anybody what we are going through,
And
also
fight back also. Fight back.
and
Don't sit down. Don't let them discourage you. You can do it. In this life, everybody can do it. If we are discouraged, we cannot go forward. Like in this Gambia, we don't work together. Everybody have their own way of thinking. At least we should sit down and make a decision for the whole country. But no, we always have someone who's gonna say no, let's do this. And if you refuse, she's gonna take some people who like pay them, bribe them to follow him or her to do things that are very bad in the country. So like here we have to go like with one voice, one heart, one country, one love.
Like we say, the smiling
Yes,
face.
yes. It's the
But the
smile
smiling
because
face
of
is lacking.
Africa. Yeah, it's really lacking.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smile because I'm now like raping, killing and stealing. It's like just drinking water.
child abuse and all that.
Yes, and all those things. It's really bad.
Yeah.
It's not encouraging the children who are growing up smoking, father smoking in front of their kids. The kids will
And
take
the worst
after
thing,
you.
and the worst thing, sometimes these parents send their children to go and buy it,
Yes, yes.
which is bad. One day the child will want to test, what is this my father is
It's
taking?
sending me
taking.
to buy, yeah.
I say it's very bad. So as parents, we should not be sending our children to buy certain things because it is very bad. Children learn from what they see.
Yes.
So I will encourage parents out there not to be sending their children to be buying certain things for them. If they want it, let them go and buy it themselves and use it outside, not in front of them. Okay, so I would like to... You want to say something, right? Okay.
This is about religion actually.
Okay.
For example, if your mom is a Muslim and your father is a Christian,
Okay.
the children have a hard time
To decide.
to decide what they want to be. The father on the other side will say, be a Christian, be a Christian. Their mother will be a Muslim, be a Muslim. So they'll get confused, and also they will that will lead to somewhere like separation of the parents, and as she said.
And it will traumatize them.
Divorce is always a hard thing. I pray that
It's very hard.
no one will go through that.
You know this kind of religious marriage type of thing is very hard.
Yeah.
Muslim married Christians and things like that. So.
Yeah. Okay. What advice do you have for the society concerning this book?
Well, all I have to say is that let them buy the book. At least if you don't like reading, but try this one. I promise you, you're gonna love it. This book is interesting. It teaches a lot of things. It even it motivates me. I'm not staying with my mom because we are poor. She can't afford to pay my school fees, so I'm staying with my auntie. You see, so this book is telling me that not to give up, that I can do it. This life, everything is possible if you make it possible.
Wow. Right.
Yeah, so the viewers should really buy this book. This book is one of a kind. Most books I see, they don't talk about the problems in the country or going on around them. They just talk about other things. They should be to emphasize on all these problems around us. But this book is one of a kind. It's talking about everything, and it gives hope to the hopeless, as they have said. So yeah.
And do you want to say something? Yes.
Well,
Okay, viewers, we have almost come to the end of the program today because we have almost eaten the time that was given to us. So you are reminded that you are watching Jamano Media and Products online TV. You can follow us on Facebook Live and YouTube. Do not forget to subscribe and give a thumbs up. Okay, viewers out there, we have almost come to the end of this show today. You are reminded that you can join us next week for another episode. Please, you see, this show is very interesting and we have brilliant students. Please, if you want to sponsor this show, so that this show will continue running in the platform, please, you can call on these numbers, 3808 647 or 7052192 588 4298 or 760-1331. So join us next week for another edition. We'll be talking about gender-based violence. You won't miss it out. So bye for now.